It's 30 degrees outside right now, a little bit of rain, and there's a complete state of emergency out here in Austin. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, I mean, I get it because people can't drive out here, so they don't want people on the roads. There's already been a couple of big accidents. So, but it got me thinking, and I was also watching The Last of Us. If you haven't watched The Last of Us yet, the series on HBO, and you don't have like the HBO subscription, I would highly recommend just getting it, just for that reason. I mean, it is so freaking good. So, and very realistic, you know, other than like the fungus, actual disease, but other, like all the other things that play out is pretty legit. So the last episode played, it was episode 3. It's called, I think, Long Time, Love You for a Long Time. It's named after a song. There's this guy named Bill, meets another guy named Frank, and they fall in love. But Bill was a survivalist, and you know, games like super smart dude, had all his preparations in order, and it really got me thinking. And I don't know how many of you have ever checked, like a lot of this stuff we do on this channel is all bike stuff now. But Hardcity actually stemmed from like survival gear, backpacking videos, firearm videos, basic firearm knowledge, you know, training with firearms. I mean, I got some pretty badass videos out there of, you know, rifle training, just all kinds of stuff. I have AR videos, build AR videos, upgrades, cleaning guns. I have a lot of, there's a fair amount of gun content on here considering this is a motorcycle channel now, all right? Let's put it like that. So I've always been like that. I've always been a prepper, a survivalist. I always like to make sure I have what I need when I need it. I don't like to look for things. I don't like to not have things that I need. I don't like to be out of batteries or not have tape or not have like the little knick-knack things that you need every day, kind of, that you don't even realize you take granted for. I like having those things, you know? And I don't necessarily like having things that sit around that I don't use. But like that's not a thing of mine. But I don't have a lot of stuff in my apartment, if that makes sense. So like all my survival gear, and I took it all. I think there was a whole series I did when I had my house in Philly, and we did videos before on survival, like 72-hour backpacks, or longer bags, like a day packs, survival day packs, get home bags, you know, bug out bags, all those types of things. That's why I have a lot of cool, really nice backpacks. Like the one I'm looking at right here is a 12-hour battalion by Recycled Firefighter. It's multi-cam and it's a quick day bag. It's fast, it's light, it's my go-to. So, you know, yeah, I've always been like kind of into that, and I still am. I still check my preps. I still make sure I have things I need. I always carry very basic EDC, which is where all that starts. It stems from your everyday carry, like the stuff you carry on you every day, and just like the couple of things that are around, because this is where I usually lay all my stuff. I have an iPhone 13 mini, my AirPods. This is the knife I've been carrying today. It's a Gerber little razor knife. My wallet, the Ridge wallet, love it, brand new. I just got it and never had one before. Absolutely love it. And my keys, super minimalistic, but what's important about my keys is a 500 lumen Raven flashlight. So I always have some kind of cool, oh, and then obviously I carry a concealed firearm, and that's a Glock 43. It's a 9mm. I'm actually going to get a new gun this week, and I'm really excited to show you guys because I haven't done a gun video in a while. I'm probably even gonna go to the range and let that thing go. If it's nice, we'll see. But if not, I'll do the like review of it, and you guys are gonna like this. I needed a new handgun for the house instead of my house gun, which is this. You know, it's very unlikely somebody's gonna rob the house, and it's even more unlikely I'd pull this out in any situation unless like literally the end of the world, really. And that's kind of why it's here. It doesn't really, like, I like to make jokes and videos where like, oh, if somebody's stealing my bike, you know, I'm gonna, you know, it's not, I'm not even making jokes. I just like to make, I guess people have the assumption that when I say, oh, if I, right there, if somebody's stealing my bike, right there's my window and I have my AR. They're making, from taking that and formulating their own outcome or situation that could happen in their head. But really what I mean by that is, like, if somebody was stealing my bike and I confronted them and they pulled a gun out, what would I do? So more than likely, if there was a couple of dudes out there stealing my bike, I probably would have this slung over my shoulder and just have some words with them, if they even would be able to get that far. I mean, Storm would be going ballistic if she saw somebody touching the bike out there. But in any case, so you wouldn't really be able to have time. Like, it's just so close that you just, unless I wasn't home, in which case she comes in here. So anyway, without all that, just kind of giving a background, like, I'm very familiar with firearms, how they work, how to use them safely, when and when not to use them. I know the laws in my state. I know the laws in like every state because I've driven through every state with a firearm, loaded and not loaded, give or take what the laws were. I have a firearm permit. I am very highly trained. I was going to be a police officer. I trained with very, very credible men and women in our armed forces. I'm not going to name any names because some of them are actually still very high up in those ranks. And especially like years ago when I was doing that type of content, some of them are just like, you know, staff sergeants, where like some of them are very, very way high up than that now. So anyway, I know some people. I know some YouTubers that you guys know too. Talon, he probably doesn't remember me anymore. I've spoke to that guy in many years, but yeah, so I am very familiar with the whole EDC prep community. This channel has been that for years. And quite honestly, like, the bike videos are fun, but that's still a big part of me and this channel and my lifestyle. So I'm not gonna dismiss it. And I did tell you guys that every once in a while, you're probably gonna see videos like this. So I was thinking of this a video, I'm watching Last of Us. I'm like, man, I really want to kind of update the channel on, you know, prep. Like, are you guys keeping up with that? Don't neglect. I know everything seems quiet right now, and there is talks of a bigger thing happening and the stock market crashing and all those things. And yes, there are very real situations that we're in the middle of that you need to keep your guard up. And I like to play. I'm not going to sit here and live my life in fear. And I don't really pay attention to fear mongering. When I do keep an eye on news, I have all the biggest news. I have Fox, I have CNN, I have NBC, I have all of them. I don't feed into it. I kind of keep an eye on everything. I have Twitter Blue. I have, shout out to the boss man. But anyway, I have all these things. I'm very in tune to what's going on around the world. I watch world news. I watch a lot of different stuff like that just to keep in ear. I don't ever, this is a foolish man would do this, but I never, ever, ever believe something that I hear. That's what a fool does. If I didn't see it with my own two eyes, I'd more than likely just tuned it out and keep it back here. And if it's brought up later, I can kind of bring that back into my head and be like, oh, I remember seeing something. And if I feel like I need to look into it, I'll look into it. If not, my life goes on. I try to every month, sometimes every week, put something away or get something. Every time I'm at the store, whether it's a lighter, whether it's a pack of matches, whether it's just a packet of sugar extra, and I'll throw a 1500cc thing in there. What the freaking oh my god, why can't I think the food little reserve things for the air, and a Mylar bag and Ziploc it, whether I'll do that or just something, not Ziploc it, Mylar, and then put it in a, you know, take to the storage area and do what I need to do with it, not keep it in the house, which I put it in a, anytime I do something like that, whether it's nuts or flour or something, I try to do that a couple times a year. Just build it up a little bit, rotate things, check dates on things, because, you know, I think some of the stuff I've had in Mylar Ziploc bags now for 5 years, So every now and again, I like to crack it open and see how it's holding up. I think we're gonna do that soon, actually, on the channel. So you guys may want to keep an eye on that one, where we'll crack open my supply, at least a couple of things, just to test it out, and then just redo it. No harm done, really. It's just a little bit. If it's good, I'll use the stuff at home instead of, like, you know, I'm gonna count on the stuff being not really counting on it being fine, right? Unless rats got into it, which is why you keep it in the buckets. But they will chew through buckets eventually. So you just got to keep an eye on it. If you see poop, mice poop around holes, chewed marks in your stuff, then you should probably either move it up higher or find a new location. But yeah, so when I moved, I remember telling my girlfriend this. I'm like, she's like, well, what are you gonna take? I'm like, I'm not really taking anything. I'm gonna try to get rid of a lot of stuff, but I do have like all this food preparation stuff, like not a lot of stuff, just really probably about 2 months worth. And that's just for me and the dog. And it was a lot of, like, I remember when I got to Iowa and I had the truck, there was a whole section of just survival stuff. Like literally a whole section of my U-Haul was just literally just survival. Ropes, axes, cutting tools, food stuff, just all kinds of stuff. Different backpacks, bug out bag, fully loaded, a fully loaded 72-hour bag, a fully loaded bug out or bug in bags, just all kinds of different just prep stuff and camping gear and just things like that. And not even necessarily survival stuff. Like I said, camping gear was a lot of it too. But then I also had a pretty good sized box of canned food, which would be the first thing you start picking at, right? Instead of you're going into the stuff that's in bags, you're getting into the stuff, you go by day in a survival situation. Obviously, you eat the stuff that's gonna expire first and you ration it, right? So I had some canned stuff, soups and different things that would go for like 2 years, 3 years. And she's like, well, what are we gonna do with all this stuff? And she's like, give it to charity. And I'm like, please God, didn't make me fall in love with the girl who doesn't understand how important this is. And it wasn't even like a ton of stuff to where it's like I'm hoarding food. It was literally just like a half a box full of cans, other stuff, beef jerkies, just things like that, right? Like you're really gonna need some of that stuff. And a lot of times when I do go camping or hiking, those are the things I pick at. Instead of going to the store and buying stuff, I'll take out of my self things and replace it. And that's my thought process on that. That way I kind of always save myself money. Like I have it, I'll take it and replace it and just kind of do that. And you're kind of like really never spending money in that way. You buy it once and you just kind of recycle it. And it's just a super easy way to save money too. If you're going on a camping trip and you literally have everything, even food that you need to go camping, you're gonna save like $400. Then, well, yeah, then you gotta slowly replace it. Yeah, but you may not use it again for a while. And it's just, I don't know. You guys do however system you want. That's what I do. But I remember her saying that and I'm like, no. I'm like, this isn't for storage or this isn't for charity. This is our food in case, you know, another pandemic. Not even another pandemic. I had trouble finding eggs and a good steak today. I mean, I found a steak, but it was it wasn't a great one. There's 4 things a man should spend money on: motorcycles, a dog, firearms, and a good steak. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. If you spend money on a good steak, you're gonna be okay. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't even matter how you cook it, undercook it, overcook it, whatever. If it's a good quality piece of meat, you're gonna be fine. So, with all that being said, my prepper mentality of me, the prepper mentality of Will, you can't walk into this apartment and spend less than 5 minutes in here and not find a probably good week and a half, 2 weeks survival kit to make out of this stuff from scratch that I just have here. Now, first of all, I have a fully loaded kit ready to go here. It's called a bug out bag. It'll last 72 hours. It's just a 3-day. That's just to, like, if you look in the series, the movie The Last of Us, the show, I mean, one of the parts was they were talking about, like, right when the pandemic hit, they were going door to door and getting people to go to QZ zones. When these QZ zones were full, or they felt like they were gonna get full, they killed people. It didn't matter if you were sick or not. And the idea behind that was if you're not sick, you can't get sick and bite other people. And so, you know, people who aren't sick can't spread it either because they can't get sick in the future. So you're basically gonna die. Lesson there, and whether you want to take this a lesson or not, do not trust the government in a situation, period, which is what Bill was doing. He was hiding in the basement. He was a full out survivalist prepper. You wouldn't be able to tell on the outside of this house. It looked like a white house with a picket fence, and I'm telling you, there's probably more than 50% of Americans who have this exact situation. There's a lot of very capable, highly trained civilians out here who act like they're very Joe Schmo kind of guys. I'm one of them, except I do YouTube, which makes it a little difficult because I'm recognizable. Some guys aren't. Some guys do not put their faces on there for that reason. Some guys are the real deal. And I'm not saying that I'm not and I'm fake about it. I really do it, but I'm also not really too worried about exposing myself as a prepper. Like guys like Wrangler Star would have to be so much. Like people can find his property very easily. Whether or not you would want to do that, that's probably a really bad idea unless you want to meet the Lord. And that's, the man's no killer, but in a survival situation where he's protecting his property and that kind of little community they built there with neighbors and whoever else, I would highly recommend you don't go there uninvited. Highly, highly recommend that. And there's other places like that too, like Bear Independent, Shover Mountain. There's sanctuaries all over the United States of America. Unless you know someone and you're in one of these prepper communities, you are not going to be welcome. Am I in one? Yes, I am. Am I going to tell you the name of it? No, I'm not. I won't even tell you what state or direction it's in from here. I only know where it is. Me and me only. I decide who goes with me. The dog. She'd be difficult. She likes to make noise. She's loud. She's ruckus. I'd honestly, more than likely, just keep her off her leash and let her do her own thing. It's a survival situation. I'm not going to hold attachment to a dog. At least not right in the sense of the whole world is ending. Now, if we're talking about a freaking snowstorm, obviously not neglecting my dog like I am now. This would be a very specific situation, like literally complete anarchy, hordes of zombies, whatever you want to say. I would literally just let the dog go. Come with me or don't, do your thing, survive, come back, whatever. But I'm not going to leash you around. You're on your own, dude. Don't get killed. Kind of like that, you know. She'd be fine. Storm's a freaking warrior. You're a warrior dog. Yeah, that's how serious I do take the prepping thing. Very serious. I've planned for everything. That's all I used to do that's all I did for years. I mean, you're talking about good 3 years on this channel specifically. It's like pretty much what we did. When we first got started, all I did was prep videos, bug out videos, just different, you know, knives, different tools, different camping gear, stuff to try out in the field that would work, you know, like just what I did. And today, like I said, I'm already set up very well. And I don't really, like, I like to play. I don't have anything here, but like I said, there's not like on a mass scale, but if you looked around here, like you can't, I just pulled this out of there to show you guys. Like you couldn't go around my house and not be able to find something that will let you live. Like this right here, you're gonna live for a week. Guarantee you're gonna live on, you're not gonna starve to death, that's for sure. So you don't really need that much food. You can probably stretch out longer. What you can't live without is water. So I'd highly recommend you figure out your water situation because that is literally the most important thing. You know, there's a couple of things men should be good at, you know, like, and one of those things I do really feel like if you're a man with a family, for sure, if you don't have some kind of a backup plan to get your family out of even just the simplest scenario like it was with COVID, like that was literally a test of like who's gonna have to raid the stores because, you know, for toilet paper, because, you know, there's a COVID, you know. And most people had to do that. Most people were not ready. The stores were getting mobbed for freaking toilet paper. I did not have to go get toilet paper. I had like 4 months of toilet paper or more in my house, probably a year. It's just me. And I had a 3-bedroom house, 3 stories, or 2 stories, duplex in Philly. It was nice. I had a basement. It was fully prepped out. I mean, we started really doing some work to it. The videos are there. I organized it. It was a shitty, grungy basement, but it was a very nice little bunker kind of thing. I don't have a bunker here. I have everything in storage. And that's okay. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, my plan would obviously be just to go there first, take what I need to survive for about 2 weeks, go to the woods, camp, and then come back here and live. Like if they were going around and doing QZ zone checks, like everybody's got a QZ zone, you don't want to be a part of that situation. And so getting into this Cry Precision JPC, on the side here, we have a Maxpedition trauma kit. And this is gonna have everything in it from a tourniquet to a compression needle. There's gonna be trauma gauze in here, just about everything a man would need in a full-blown survival situation. You just got all kinds of different stuff in there. Trauma gauze, North American Rescue, like, oh, this is the real deal right here. And your tourniquet, soft gen, really good tourniquet. And then in this guy, this is a North American Rescue little zip pouch. I just have some basic things in here. These are iridium tablets for if it's nuclear, a couple things of ammunition, smaller rounds. These are actually, nope, those aren't the hollow points. Maybe these ones are. One of them is. One of them is a different round than the other, depending on what the target is. Right here is a real quick survival kit. Alcohol prep pads, because they burn. Some storm-proof matches. Tin foil in case you gotta light some stuff on wet ground. And then I'd probably put a couple other things in here that I have laying around the house, like I told you about, that I would be able to find. And then liquid IVs. But if I did just need to grab this and go, I'd be okay for now, depending on the situation. I would obviously grab a couple things and add it to it, but over here I got a multi-tool. It's for the AR. It's just got some tools on it for your AR-15 specific to give that some repairs if you need to. And on the front, I don't have the plate, the magazine pouch on there. It's actually not here at the house. I gotta bring it here, but I don't necessarily really think I'm gonna need 4 rounds of magazines. I got the 2 in the pouch, and that's okay, but the front of this would have that on there. I got a Sharpie marker here. This would come off. You don't want no markings on there, but that's just on there for show now. But the lone wolf kind of deal. And then in this here, because I know somebody's gonna ask, but first of all, this is the JPC 2.0, 3.0, I think. I don't know, something 0.0. But the plate itself, so the plate itself is what I wanted to show you. This is a polyethylene multi-curve plate. It's very, very light. It's multi-hit rated. Level 3 threat. It'll stop at 7.62. And I've seen it done. Multi-curve. The cool thing about this is it's very, very comfortable. It's very, very lightweight. You can't even feel it on you. And it's like 3 pounds. I mean, it's nothing, right? So that's really helpful. And to have in that situation, you just slip it right on in there and you're good to go. Some of my backpacks, like I keep a guy like this in. This is just some soft shell you can keep in a backpack. And this is multi-hit rated for 9mm. I think it tells you actually, but it's really nice. Ballistic armor plate. Replace if it becomes damaged. Good for 5 years. This has a shelf life as well. So yeah, some guys will multi-do it too. You can if you want to do that. That's a little much, but you could do that. But yeah, so that's it. This here is what a man needs. You're useless if you're dead, obviously, right? This is not a Halloween costume. This is not some knockoff plate carrier you get at some gun show. It's a Crye Precision JPC 2.0. It is very nice. I don't have the back one in, the back plate, because I don't like, I want to be a little lighter, and some of my packs that I would have armors in them. And this here is a North American Rescue little food pouch. Keep a couple things of food in there, some other knick-knack things. This alone will get me through at least 24 hours. Not bad. If I, you know, I can stretch it, but it's set for 24 hours in total of gear. So whether you stretch those out, like, you know, whatever, then I would go to this for an even more lighter one. But you need to get basic kit, and that's pretty much, you know, I'd mask. I'd probably put color contacts in. I have them, they're here, I can do it. Yeah, you don't want to be in a government situation. You think when they're going door to door and they go and they find this stuff, do you think, you know, they're gonna say, oh yeah, you can bring that? What do you think's gonna happen in that situation? If they're going door to door, they're taking your shit and you're going with them, you can bring one bag, not with any guns. So what do? You know, you don't go with them. You do not go with the government, period. This is not something that is going to be good. You may think they're gonna have the food, they're gonna have everything. It's gonna be a dictatorship right out of the gate. That's a promise, you know. And The Last of Us, the series, the show, could not be pinpoint on to how that would be. You're not going to be welcome to take this stuff with you. In that, they're not going to be like, yep, can I throw my plate carrier on? They're not going to do that. Well, it's mine. Why can't I wear it? They don't want you to have an advantage over them, or any slight of advantage anywhere close to what they have. That's the disadvantage. If somebody, a regular civilian, I'm a regular civilian, but a civilian with a hoodie and jeans on versus a civilian like me who has the advantage instantly. Now, I'm a good guy. There's going to be bad guys like this. Lots of them. Lots of guys that will rob you like that. Whatever you have, you're gone. So there's a whole theory of like, well, don't have a military-sized backpack, or don't be dressed like you're a military or cop, because you're gonna get your, you know, you're more of a threat. True, but you're not gonna see me. You're never gonna see me. You're never gonna find me. You're not gonna know what direction I went before any of that shit even comes to fruition. Before my neighbors know what's even going on, I'm gone. I'll come back once the area is cleared to get some stuff if I need it. Most of my good stuff, good stuff that I don't probably need to come back here, whatever I leave from here with is probably gonna be good enough. Which is gonna be the hour 15. I'd take it apart, disassemble it, put it in a backpack, put my plate carrier on, put my motorcycle jacket on, get my bike, and be gone out of here, and so fast you would have no idea what happened. I'd be so fast, gone like a ghost. Lipstick would go into storage immediately. Then I would probably start having to hike my way back here to get Storm and a car. I'm counting on that situation being complete, and I mean, I'm talking about such a random, like, turn of events. Like, it would have to be as serious as Last of Us, not like a snowstorm, you know. I'd probably steal a car, or if I had something that I could get, I'd probably steal a car. Come back, get Storm, and then hide until everything's gone, or just keep hiking towards where I need to go. But stay off main roads, stay out of cities. And, you know, a lot of people, I would recommend you bug in. You know, if you have a basement, start digging a bunker in your basement. Don't let your neighbors know. Don't let no one know about it. Do it on the hush hush. If they ask you what's being dug up in the backyard, always keep a black tarp over it and say you're planting a new garden. And plant that garden over top of it when you're done. Because you're gonna have to dig a hole in the ground. Well, unless you build it under the house, but you know, you could do that, but it's gonna be super loud. I would probably build the actual passageway under the house, and then the actual bunker would be outside the house. So you could just dig a hole, put a plastic tub in there and be done with it. You can do this on a DL. It's very, very possible to do this without anyone knowing. Even if you're surrounded by neighbors, people do it all the freaking time. Really, people do it all the time. Your neighbors, a lot of, like for me, never mind. My house won't have that at all. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, this is a little out of touch with my latest content, but I think it's important, especially watching that episode, man. It really struck me as like, yeah, I wonder how many people are actually prepared for this type of event, or even if it wasn't even to that extent, like what if COVID happened again? Like how many, like even out here in Texas, it was thin pickings at the store, and this is just 30 degrees and rain. Thin pickings. I mean, yesterday there was barely any bread, there was barely any eggs. Today I went back, was a little more restocked because trucks still dropped stuff off, but nobody went to the store to get anything, so it's all just there right now. But yesterday it was mobbed because everything was going to be shut down today, and it was just they're counting on tractor trailers and shipments not coming to the store, so the store not being restocked. So then the store is restocked, it's fine. But what if it wasn't? How long do you think, if trucks aren't moving, if we lose our transportation, trucks are not moving, how long do you think until the food runs out? I can tell you, 72 hours, gone, done. Without the supply train, the network of truckers that drop food off all over the country, hour by hour, minute by minute, to every store all across America, a cajillion times a night, 3 days. Done. That is not some made up thing. That is facts. A little bit more than the COVID-19 pandemic. A little bit more. Complete anarchy. I legit actually have a Carter tarp for hiding this motorcycle in the woods, which is what I do, because this would be a very important piece of kit to have. A Ducati. You need that, it's in and out of stuff, later on if you actually survived. But for my situation, I'm not like crazy prepper guy, but I like to, like I said, every week, every month, try to put a couple of things away and do something and just, have some things, which I continue to do to this day. Right, Mama? But you could stretch that farther. If I had an actual house, my actual house is going to be legit. Like there's going to be a whole nother thing. And we're getting close to probably buying a house sometime next year. I've been looking. I'm on a light look right now. I'm in the thought process of what I kind of want versus like, do I really just want to get something now and start getting into the housing game or do I want to just get the permanent deal now and not have to ever worry about it? This is where I'm going to die kind of place. And that's kind of where I'm headed. I want like the house that I buy right now, the property that I buy isn't a house that I'm going to just buy and live in for 10 years. I want to make sure that I get something that it's perfect. It has all the things I need. It can be self-sufficient. I do not need to ever leave it if something were to happen. It's the security of it would be, an advantage to me. So mainly on the top of some kind of hill or something. Lots of trees that cover the property from the outer perimeter, or maybe at least on the north end or the opposite side that the sun rises, so shadows and all kinds of stuff you could do. You could really think and plan that stuff out. And I don't know if some of you guys know this, but I'm very good at that. Very good at like strategically planning locations of like everything was, when I had my house in Philly, I had everything planned out. Like I even knew, how the sun would rise would affect people from going in that, never mind. Anyway. So this is something different I definitely did on the channel. But anyway, guys, yeah, I don't know how many of you guys actually think about that kind of thing, but I was just watching that and I felt like making a video about some prepping stuff and just making sure you guys are at least, if at the very least, just keep it in the back of your mind. Maybe get some books on it, medicine books. Again, I have all that, survival books, different things just to learn, and just keep in the back of your mind. Like even something like a simple like pocket knowledge book where it teaches you how to tie ropes or anything like that. Because in the future, if something were to happen, money would be pretty irrelevant. It wouldn't even be worth anything. The thing that would be of value is your skill set. What can you bring to the table? Can you build fences? Can you provide security? Can you plant? Are you a doctor? Are you knowledgeable in anything other than nothing? Like you can't, like you're just like this guy who doesn't know anything. Like there's guys who don't know how to change a flat tire. There's guys who don't know how to hang a picture frame in a wall. And there's just guys who don't know these things. I mean, to each his their own, but if you don't know how to change a flat tire, you should probably learn how to do that. You know, some guys are super undeveloped, and some women are too. And this isn't, you know, very much like this dress, that if you're an independent woman, that's great. And if you do your own prepping thing, but if you're an independent woman and you're not thinking about this, which is like probably 89% of the women I've met in my entire life have no freaking clue, because they rely on a man to do it. They're relying on a man to make sure they have this. But I'll be honest with you right now, the girl that I married, if I ever did, you're not gonna use me. You're gonna have your own skills. Like either you're gonna learn how to take a bullet out of my side or something, but you're, you know, and I'm not just talking about cook. I'm talking about like a survival situation. You know, like you have to bring something to the table, hon. You know what I mean? I can't, you know, and she would be able to be efficient with firearms. I've never dated a girl who was like, guns. I can't do it. We won't get along. It just won't be happening. It'll never happen because I'm always carrying a gun. They're always around. They're just laying around, you know, safely. Okay. Somebody's gonna be like, what do you mean just playing? Shut up. You know, so, you know, efficient, knowledgeable, and that kind of thing. I couldn't deal with somebody who was anti-2A, you know, somebody. It's just crazy. The dating world's crazy. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked the video. Back the old Hardcity ways, I guess, for a little bit. It's rainy, can't ride or anything like that. But yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you all. And let me know if you have any questions, if you like this video, if you want to see a backpack update, like some kind of 72-hour bag or update on any of that kind of stuff. I'll probably more or less keep those kind of things on Patreon. So it's not really going to be something we do a lot on the channel, but on Patreon, I do have and plan on showing some more of that into more detail, to where you guys would actually be able to be like, oh, that's what he means by like you have stuff in storage. Is kind of how you do it. Write dates on it, check it. Keep a logbook of stuff, so I don't even need to really go to my storage unit to check. I can just open my book and look and be like, oh, I have this and this and this, which is coming up soon. Let's rotate it and cook it at home, see if it's good. Hopefully I don't die and get sick. But anyways, yeah. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.